Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Tony Basilio, welcome you to another edition. That little pop could be telling you something because it's time for us to pop in here. As we're live today, ladies and gentlemen, we are at Calhoun's on the river. It's an incredible day. It's going to be amazing here, and we're making it happen with you. TGMD's in the house, and the great one will be by later because you two are so good together, TGMD, as part of our TLD, as part of our Garza Law extra innings. I'm getting ready to say we're getting ready to open our TLD logistics hotline. I'm all like, my brain scrambled today, and why? Because I just had a brush with greatness. The great Jim Wright is here, sharing something that's going to be going on here beginning next week in our community that I'm fired up, focused, and prepared for. And Marcos Garza has given me an assignment, so I got to figure out where the Elks Club is. But more on that later on. TGMD, are you excited for this weekend on the Hill? Are you excited for this series? Talk to me. Talk to me here, my man. Which mic are you? Talk to me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am. I'm excited. It's really a kind of a big spot for tennis. I guess they all are at this point in the year, but they need some positive momentum and to pick up some wins, especially since they're playing at home. So
it would be really great talking to somebody today, see the ball fly out of the park a little bit this weekend. We haven't been doing that like we were earlier in the year. No,
they only hit one at LSU, which is and gave up 7, which is one of the rare things. You don't see that very often with this team. But
yeah.
No,
they've been
scuffling
punch.
A little bit.
Yeah, we haven't had the punch of past Tennessee teams, and that has certainly been a thing and certainly been a problem. And so, I think they wake up this weekend. What do you think? My sense is this team wakes up.
I certainly hope so. Got an earlier first pitch tonight. They moved it up an hour to 5:30. So
wow.
we'll see about tomorrow. Hopefully they can play tomorrow.
5:30.
Last time they had a doubleheader here wasn't a good day for the Vols.
5:30. Yeah, that's true. So 5:30 first pitch tonight. Just trying to play around the weather that's coming in. Is that kind of the idea?
So, yeah, that's what Brian Hartman said.
Do they? Are we worried about Saturday?
I mean, I think there's potentially some severe weather.
Yeah.
That could in that huge radius. That if there's a lightning in Chattanooga, the game's getting delayed.
Yeah, I love our era we're living in. We're all so cautious.
Leave the women and children at home this weekend. This is the main thing.
That's what somebody told me yesterday, and one member of our panel didn't double down on it yesterday. He tripled down on it. But that's where we are. And ladies and gentlemen, it's an incredible day to be alive and well with you. What we're going to do on the other side, it's a championship weekend on campus as well. Chris Woodruff, my man Woody, and the gang are going to be on the scene making it happen. They've got an opportunity for you to make a weekend of it because they are hosting NCAA tournament action on the campus. So it's all ahead of us. It's all right here. We're going to do it. We're live on the deck here. Calhoun's on the river. Come out and see us. It is utterly outstanding. They're opening up the doors. Man, it's a great day for this, Matt. An awesome day for this.
Yeah, absolutely. It
Woo!
is. Really cool.
And you can feel the humidity in the air, but tomorrow, a full day of tennis. So Tennessee's in action at 1 o'clock tomorrow. What time's the baseball game, Matt? Do you know?
I don't
Offhand?
know. Off the top of my head,
you're like I am. I don't worry about the details. I don't sweat the details till I'm in the moment. People have to tell me where I have to be somewhere, when I have to be somewhere. But in the meantime, live today, Calhoun's on the river. Come out and see us, eat some lunch, talk some sports. Steve Russell. We come back. We got all the dignitaries here. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an epic day here as we continue on the other side. Woody joins us, followed by Hughie. And then in hour 2, Willie D. Heflin will be here with TGMD. We've got a full set for you today, and we come back on the other side right after this.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new
course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
Why is it so stuffy in here? Don't tell me the AC's broken again. No matter the season, a broken air conditioner or HVAC system is a nightmare. And with warm weather here, it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe before summer's heat arrives. If you need emergency HVAC repairs, preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Whatever problems you encounter, our certified technicians will make a full assessment, then provide the best long-term solution to make your home comfortable again in no time. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans, including 0% financing with credit approved. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected cost in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Hey, it's Ben Leeper, pitcher with your Knoxville Smokies. It's Friday night at the ballpark, and you know what that means. Fireworks. We'll see you tonight.
Tona B back with you. We're live today at Calhoun's on the River, where we be on a Friday. Man, it is such an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be out here with you among family and friends. We've got all the famous folks. I mean, my man Mike Carver, when he comes walking in, he comes walking in with, he's got the women on his arm, and, I don't know. I don't know how to answer any of that, but speaking of the jet set, when you bow your head when you say his name, ladies and gentlemen, before we bring in the great Chris Woodruff, who is an absolute straight baller. He's going to be calling here in a couple minutes. You got a real opportunity to make a full weekend of it because the tennis team, the game tomorrow night is 6 o'clock. The tennis team's going to be out there doing their thing tomorrow, and we'll ask Woody what the plan is in terms of weather when he joins us. But we alluded to this in the blog today. People were asking me, is Des Oliver going to be rehired? No. Rodney Terry going to be rehired? I talked about this in the very bottom of the blog today. I said, look to the West Coast. I knew it last night. I was kind of sworn in until they got it done. But Amaro Morgan, the sun will come out Amaro, Amorrow. Amaro Morgan brings more than a decade of head coaching experience to the Tennessee staff, according to Mike Wilson. He has been hired as the new assistant. He is originally from Memphis. He's known as being an excellent recruiter. And then, Matt, we've got also more breaking news. We got somebody out of the portal today, Matt. Talk to me. TGMD, who'd we get?
Defensive back Colton Hood, who comes from Colorado, and before that he spent a season at Auburn.
All right.
So
all good in the hood.
That's as much as I know about him.
Does he have any starts at Colorado, as far as you can tell? We'll have to dig on him.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a replacement. Maybe he's a safety option. We'll talk to Adam Sparks.
I'm sure X has already broke down the film.
Well, I'll talk to Adam Sparks, and we'll break it down with him top of next hour. But in the meantime, it's a beautiful day to be alive and well. And my man, the main man on the wheels to steel, will be joining us. You better bow your head when you say thy name. And I'm going to bring Jennifer Duncan up here in a little bit to tell you about something here in El Segundo. Regarding the fact that our friends over at WJBE, our Knoxville affiliate, are going to have a special day. In fact, it's going on right now. It's a Free Food Friday today over at WJBE right in the parking lot there. They've got the food truck out there. They've got a drawing at 1:30 for $500. It's a 12-year anniversary celebration at 2340 Martin Luther King Avenue. But I'll let Jennifer tell you about that as we go along today. In the meantime, and we are fired up, focused, and prepared, make no mistake about it, but Woody's going to join. Where's Woody? Woody's late on me here. I'm getting ready to have a star fit. Matt Dixon, why do I feel like semi-apprehensive about this series? Why do I feel semi-gun-shy about this series right now? And is that natural in light of the way the baseball team's played?
No, I think it's very fair because that's kind of how they've been playing recently. It doesn't feel like they're playing aggressive, playing with that edge that they've typically had the last few years. And for whatever reason, I think it's a couple of different things. They've really not played great at home. And, I mean, even in the midweek, it's just a midweek game, but, you kind of struggled around with a Northern Kentucky team that, granted, was in your regional last year, but you brought in Dylan Loy and Nate Snead had to pitch the final 2 innings of that game for you to win. So it's a team that's not playing great right now. You're mixing and matching in the infield. Hopefully this one works. And Auburn's a good team. It's a top 15 team.
Yes.
They're kind of scrappy. They're not going to wow you, but they kind of do a lot of things well, and they've given Tennessee some fits. I believe even last year when they only won like 4 or 5 league games, they beat Tennessee in the middle game of that series. They beat the 22 team. in one of those games.
Kind of like Kentucky down through the years. They do a lot of little things well, and they're going to make us make plays in the field, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of – these teams scare me a little bit with us.
Yeah.
I like the swing-away teams better, the power-hitting teams, because two things are true. We've got Friday and Saturday right now pretty figured out on the pitching mound. It would be really great to get the first two in this series. I mean, it's almost imperative. You've got to get a win. Tonight's game might be the biggest game of the season, the way the year has gone so far.
Yeah, you need to win Liam Doyle starts, period. And if you had done that last week, you win a series at LSU, who's ranked number 2, and it looks like might be ranked number 1 next week because Texas got blown out at Arkansas last night.
Yes.
For just their third league loss, which is interesting. So we'll see. But you just got to win series. That's the key. The getting sweeps is became normal for Tennessee fans here the last couple of years. It's not normal at all. You just got to find ways to just win series.
And the significance of Arkansas doing what they did last night is, where does Tennessee finish the season?
Yeah, and that's where Tennessee ultimately ends the year is in Fayetteville, where they
finish the series.
They've really struggled. Struggled.
Oh yeah,
as most teams do in the regular season.
So it's kind of an interesting thing. At the end of the day, it's going to be really interesting to see the crowd tonight, how fired up the crowd is or isn't. The earlier start, again, if you're just tuning in, it is a 5:30
start. Moved it up an hour from 6:30. So get there early.
Yeah, get there early. Get there fired up.
Get the babysitter at the house an hour early.
Get there focused. Get there prepared. I'm to the point where it is something where we just need something really positive to happen early in that game. A blowout win tonight where you score a bunch of runs is really what this team needs.
Yeah.
This team needs to hammer somebody. Yeah. And they need several guys to kind of get going in this new alignment. Another thing that I would like to see tonight is our second baseman have a couple of challenging plays that he makes.
He did that
baseball.
He did that in the midweek. He had 2 diving stops.
Yeah.
Threw a guy out. One of them, the other one, he had no chance to get the guy, but made the nice stop.
Yep.
Like I keep thinking back to like last year, Christian Moore hits a leadoff home run tonight to lead off these games in these series because he did that so often last year, and that's just missing. He's playing, at Smokies Park this week. So
let's, without further ado, and by the way, he came back to Smokies Park and sort of got his groove back a little bit. You were over there, right? Were you over there the other night when he hit it?
No, I was there last night.
What do you think of it? Give me a review of the Smokies.
Really nice park.
Yeah.
Parking's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And then a ton of food options, ton of drink options. I mean, it's really cool. Really nice
Great
setup.
deal.
Yeah, really cool. Going to go a bunch.
The great Vince Keller sent me a video last night of his van. Scherer was there.
Yeah, and he was playing the field, which I really appreciate. Him and Simo over there on the right side just felt unfair. The Smokies had no chance.
Let's, without further ado, bring the great Mike Hugenan in here against the backdrop, Hugie, that I love and appreciate. It's always good to break it down scientifically with you. Hugie, the transfer portal, what's left of it. Tennessee has added another player. Hugie, if you've heard of this guy, more power to you. Our addition out of the portal today, Mike Hugenan, I'm going to see how good you are. I'm going to see if you could tell me what school this guy plays for. Because if there's anybody in the world that's heard of the guy Tennessee just added out of the transfer portal, it will be none other than Mike Hugenan. Hugie, Colton Hood. Ever heard of Colton Hood, Hugie?
Yeah, I think he's a kid from, I think he's a Georgia native. But I don't know where he was last year.
All right, fair enough. He played at Colorado by way of
Auburn. So
which means he is a Georgia native.
Sense,
yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Colorado.
You scare me, man.
Did he play at Colorado last year?
Yeah, well, he was on Colorado's
I know he
roster.
was there. Did he play?
I got to see that.
24 tackles and 2 interceptions.
Oh, wow.
And played in all 13 games.
There you go.
And
there
where
you
was
go.
he before Colorado?
He spent a year at Auburn.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So there you go. Hughie is breaking it down scientifically. And then earlier in the week, the Vols got a guy from Grand Valley State, a defensive tackle. And Hughie, I'm not going to ask you about him because if you know somebody off Grand Valley State's, I don't know if I want to keep these segments going if you know somebody off Grand.
Well, Grand Valley is a really high-level Division II program. It's obviously where Brian Kelly got his start. My aunt lives up there, and she says, yeah, you go around, there's a lot of Grand Valley T-shirts. So it's they have a really rabid fan base. I do know that.
I've actually driven by that in another life on business. And their facilities, compared to other facilities at that level, it looks like they really invest in the sport there. So Tennessee likes the guy they got, by the way, out of the portal. They think he's going to put some weight on him, going to be a developmental player, and who knows, may even help him right away. We were talking yesterday, Hughie, and I want to go here because...
Wait, is it Jalen Caldwell?
No. The guy they added, no.
Tackle. Okay.
Yeah, defensive tackle. Good gosh, he knows a member of their football team. Huguenin remains in my prayers as we're live today on the deck here. Calhoun's on the river where we be. Just a beautiful day. I mean, just wow. Picture postcard day we're enjoying here. Hey, Hughie, there was an article in the Houston Chronicle. Kirk Bowles wrote it. And I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's been at it for a long time.
The Texas NIL budget, correct?
How about the fact that they could swell to between $35 to $40 million? Where is this coming from? And how is one to keep up with that? How's a Tennessee fan supposed to process that?
Yeah, the Athletic actually had a story today that could neither refute or confirm that. Some people were like, well, it's Texas, what do you expect? Well, others were, that's a little much. But I think the point the story made in the Athletic, at least, was that budget would include the House settlement money. So $15 million of it would be from the House versus the NCAA settlement, that aspect. So that means it would only be 20 or 25 million, coming from boosters or something, and for NIL, and that to me is not that far off. Ohio State last year, Ross Burns said they had a $20 million NIL budget. So if you add $15 million from the House settlement, which is what the schools are going to end up paying out, that would be 35 right there. So I think a lot of schools, when you include the NCAA settlement aspect of this, there's going to be a lot of schools this year in the Power 2 that are spending more than $30 million.
Yeah, well, we were talking about Texas's recruiting, right, and just how aggressive they are in football. And so I was told that they had signed 3 guys to fill their defensive line needs, tackles, okay? They get these guys in camp in the winter and pretty much deduce that we struck out on 2 of them and 1 might be able to play. So what do? They go and they talk Marrod Watson from Syracuse into the transfer portal, and they're going to pay him $1.5 million. This is a guy that started all 11 games at defensive tackle in his freshman season last year at Syracuse and is a very good player. That kind of speaks to the mentality that the Texas Longhorns have. And I guess the thing that stands out to me about that is they must think they're very close to winning a national championship when you comport yourself that way. Kind of like Ohio State the year before. Me and Matt were talking, and he brought up the fact that the Quinshad Junkins thing kind of came out of nowhere, and they really used him as almost – he wasn't a feature back there, Matt. He was almost like an add-on, wasn't he?
They already had, Travion Henderson, and they added two, so they kind of managed workload. They didn't need him.
And that's the thing. It's like this thing with Texas here. It's like we're going to flex because we can, Hughie. That's what they just did.
Yeah, and I think that, the tampering aspect, whether you drop hints that you want this guy to go into the portal, evidently that's what happened to the Jacoby Thomas kid at Tennessee as well, that schools look at, okay, we need, schools with a ton of money look at specific positions and then target certain players. I think that's sort of well known now. I think the difference is now that, before they were urged to transfer, here's our NIL package, and now it's urged to transfer, look at this $1 million plus NIL package. So, yeah, you end up into the portal. A lot of schools are going to have interest, but not many schools are going to pay $1.5 million. So, in some respects, you look at last year's college football playoff field and say, wow, there was a lot of new blood. But for Ohio State won because they had a $20 million NIL budget, plus that's a well-coached team, and they had great players at every position. I would argue the quarterback was not great. He was just good enough. So, yes, I think the NIL is both a boon to some teams. I think Indiana did a great job last year, for instance, with its NIL. But then you're always going to have the blue buds who have more money than anybody else and are freely spending it. And if your coach isn't inept, that money is going to be put to good use. And I think you're seeing the same thing in basketball as well. The reports of what Kentucky's spending on its roster for next year,
gosh.
What Duke spent for the Coward kid who played 6 games last year at Washington State. Before that was at Eastern Washington, and before that was at a Division III school. So that kid's played
what'd they pay him?
6 games above low major level.
What'd they pay him?
Supposedly $1.5 million. Cedric Coward.
Just to sit there.
No, he'll play at Duke. He's good. But I don't know how good he truly is. Again, he played 1 or 2 seasons at Wilmette University, a Division III school. Then he played at Eastern Washington, which is in the low major Big Sky. Then he transferred to Washington State last year, where it's sort of on the cusp of Power 5 and a high-level mid-major league, the West Coast Conference, but he only played 7 games because he got hurt. So this guy's played 7 games outside of a low major, and heck, I heard the low end was 1.5. Somebody else said it was 2.1. I don't really tend to believe the 2.1, but he's making a lot of money, and I would argue that until he went to the portal this year, no one really had ever heard of him.
Hey, Hugh,
I'll tell you something. Well known if you played.
I'll tell you something really interesting that's going on in basketball, and I was talking with a source of mine. Hey, I'm going to give you a chance to match it. And the new philosophy now, and that deal is, I'm putting my money in the players. We're not going to put all our money in the coaches like we once did. So coaches now make what a 9th, 10th guy on a roster, assistant coaches that is, what a 9th or 10th. For instance, this Nate Ament guy this year, Tennessee's going to pay him north of $4.2 million for 1 season of basketball, the University of Tennessee. Now, Hughie, did you ever think in a trillion years that you would ever hear of something like that? And you're not even like going, wow.
Yeah, and that's
it is what it is.
BYU kid DeSanta is supposed to be making a hell of a lot of money as well, and he'll be there for a year.
Yes.
Yeah, you sort of, we've talked about this for, I don't know, last 3 years now. At some point, you're worried. If you're an athletic director, you're worried about facilities, you're worried about coaches, and you're worried about players. At what point does sort of the money run out in some respects? Because if you're basically trying to get the same people to pony up money for NIL and for facilities improvements and to help with the coaches' salaries. So at some point, I don't know how soon it's going to come. Everything's going to blow up, but I don't know how soon that's going to be. And you're right. The House versus NCAA settlement. We're going to see how that all shakes out. How important collectives continue to be, but the bulk of the House versus NCAA money, obviously, at a school in the Big Ten or SEC or ACC or Big 12, is going to football. And this is where you wonder if sort of the Big East teams that don't have football can start making some hay in the portal and in recruiting again with a lot more money going just strictly to basketball. But if Tennessee's paying this kid $4.5 million to play one season, hopefully one season, because if he's as good as they think he is, he won't be there for a second. But that shows that this is not slowing down anytime soon.
You better bow your head when you say thy name. Hey Hugh, tell me about Syracuse now that they've got this quarterback, because this is top of the mind stuff though. This Angeli guy, the McCord kid, is trying his stock in the NFL. I guess he was at eligibility anyway, but he was a heck of a player. If he'd have been back, that game would have been a real handful for Tennessee this year. This Angeli guy, in your mind, what kind of player is he?
I think there's nothing wrong with being a game manager. He's more of a game manager guy. He got beat out at Notre Dame by two guys who basically had not played. Now, Angeli came in the playoff and did a nice job, led him to a touchdown in the title game when Leonard was out. So Angeli was sort of seen as the heir apparent, but he did not play. I'm not sure he played poorly in the spring, but he was passed by two young guys, including C.J. Carr, who's Lloyd Carr's grandson. So that's sort of interesting. A former Michigan coach's grandson could be the starting quarterback at Notre Dame. But I think Angeli, McCord had a solid season at Ohio State, but they thought we can do better than this, so he left and went to Syracuse and then became the nation's leading passer, or the second leading passer, rather. I think Angeli, I don't think he's necessarily as armed. His arm is not as good as McCord's, but I think that this guy is a solid one-year starter for Syracuse. And I said he's a game manager. And again, that's a little bit that can be taken negatively. I don't think he's a guy who's going to make a lot of mistakes. He's going to be a guy who takes check downs. He may not be as much of a gambler as McCord is. Remember, McCord threw 2 pick sixes in the first half in one game. So I think Angeli was a nice pickup for Syracuse.
Hey, Hughie, is that game with what's happened here in Tennessee as Joey Aguilar now and just the question marks around it, is that a game that it will be a real football game in your mind?
Yeah, I think Syracuse, Fran Brown, Syracuse had 2 really good seasons under, now I'm forgetting his name, the guy who was there before Fran Brown. But the problem was they would peak, and then, man, there would be a gigantic valley the next season. I think that Fran Brown has raised the floor there. They've been a little bit more aggressive than folks thought in the portal. They've done a nice job with the analytics in the portal. I think they find guys who other teams don't value that highly and make them into really good players. I mean, their receiving core last year was a bunch of guys. One of their leading receivers was had transferred from Georgia. I think he had, by game 6 last year, he had more catches than he'd had in 3 seasons at Georgia. So they do find guys who fit what they want. I think Fran Brown is a good coach. He worked obviously with Kirby Smart. I think Syracuse is a program now that, as long as Fran Brown is there, is going to contend in the ACC and be a thorn in the side of the Clemsons and the Florida States and the Miamis. The teams that are supposed to be really good in that league, I think Syracuse is going to cause some trouble for those teams.
Hey, Hugh, anything else on your radar here on the way out here from the week? And I really appreciate you taking some time for us.
No, I think that, the SEC had all those teams in the NCAA basketball tournament. You look at what's going to happen in the baseball and softball tournaments. You could have more than half of the national seeds can come from the SEC in both those sports.
Oh, they dominated.
I think if this were, think about all the attention that SEC basketball got nationally during its season. If college baseball and college softball was covered more, it would be even more like, oh my God, the SEC rules these two sports. And it would be frankly shocking, I think, if an SEC school doesn't win softball, and it would be surprising if an SEC team doesn't win.
Yep. It's almost like, again, I say cheering for the SEC at this point is almost like cheering for Wall Street because they've got all the money.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, man. And when you've got all the money, you're going to get the players.
The House settlement, I know schools in the ACC and Big Ten and Big 12 are like, okay, now we can spend a little bit of money in baseball, but the SEC is like, yeah, that'll add to our coffers, whereas a lot of schools in those other three leagues, that's going to be the basis of their baseball and softball NIL, whereas for the SEC, it's just, oh yeah, look, let's add another $1 million to what we already have in our pot. And Texas Tech, they obviously have that one booster who is a gigantic softball fan, and they're already paying Nigeria Kennedy more than $1 million. So Texas Tech knows what's going on, and I think the SEC schools, once they get the House v. NCAA settlement money involved in their NIL, you're going to see SEC baseball players. You could see a starting 9 all making $100,000.
Oh, well, that's good news for some of the baseball folks that are gathered on the deck here for tonight's activity because they moved to Tennessee.
I think that especially, and if you're an SEC school, you can sell. Do you want to go play Class A ball in Basilio, California, or do you want to play SEC Major College Baseball in Starkville in front of 14,000 fans and have the smell of barbecue wafting over the outfield while you play?
And staying in five-star hotels.
You'll see more fans in the stands at one game in the SEC than you will in 7 games in Class A ball.
Hughie, much love to you. Not to mention the fact that, at the end of the day, Matt Dixon, if you sign up to be in the professional organization right away, you're sleeping with 3 smelly guys in a beat-up, run-down place generally. It's a tough way to go. Now, you get the money right away, but the amenities,
long bus rides,
all the long bus rides, college baseball, these guys are treated like kings on these campuses.
And especially now in the NIL era. And then I guess it'll be even further when they're actually given scholarships.
Kings, man, kings. Bow thy head. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've got Jennifer Duncan here now, who she's the queen of community outreach. That's what I'm gonna call her. But we're on the deck here, live today at Calhoun's on the River.
Hey, Tony.
The great Joe Armstrong called me today and said, Tony, shout us out, because we're doing something today that we're calling a free food day, and my friends at WJBE celebrating 12 years of serving folks. So tell us about what's going on over at 2340 Martin Luther King Avenue.
Sure. Hey, Tony, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited. We've got some beautiful weather, and it's Free Food Friday off of MLK, and it's presented by Encore Eats. And I actually just drove by it, They've got a beautiful tent set up, a huge crowd. The smokers are smoking. You can see it a mile away. They've got food trucks. I think I saw at least 3 different food trucks out there. The line's already building.
Awesome.
And just like you're promoting fellowship in our community among Vol fans and Knoxvillians, they're trying to do that off MLK and get the community out and have some fellowship. So come on down there. It's free. Where else can you get a free meal?
It's awesome.
Friday. So it's from 11 to 2. Come on down. I'll be there.
Thank you. And they're giving away $500 today at 1:30. So all kinds of great stuff. Thank you. It's great seeing you.
Hey, thank you, Tony. Love your show.
Love you, love your show, as they say in the trade. She kind of doesn't mean that, but as here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back on the other side. Chris Woodruff sends his regards. If you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us and in the mix and in the hunt with us, let's do that. We're live today here at Calhoun's on the river. On the other side, there is a special something going on in our community next week. I need all hands on deck because more and more folks these days are falling through the cracks in terms of the hunger issues in our city, in our area, in our community. We'll talk about that. Also, Matt Dixon and myself, we're fired up, folks, and prepared for tonight. We're fired up, folks, and prepared for the new hire in hoops. We'll talk about that. I'm going to give you a little background into what Tennessee was looking for there and why they did what they did. If you go to the blog today, you'll see at the very bottom, I put an item in there. And, Matt, I'm not speaking out of school here. People were asking me, is so-and-so coming back? Is Rick Barnes going to hire so-and-so? And one thing you got to give Rick Barnes credit for is Rick Barnes is not afraid to take chances on guys and cast a wide net on his deal.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he kind of rehires guys.
No.
And recycles assistant coaches. He continues to like build his coaching tree, I guess.
Which is cool.
He's got guys. I'm pretty sure the guy that was at North Florida that Chaz Lanier played for was a guy who had interacted with Barnes in the past, which is kind of what makes that a little bit an easier deal.
Well, that's the advantage.
When you treat people the right way and you do it over your career,
right.
Things like this happen. You get lucky.
That's a great point.
I guess it's not getting lucky. It's getting what you deserve.
That's another great point. The edge Barnes has, though, is back in the day we would have called it a Rolodex. Today we call it contacts in your phone. He's got hundreds and hundreds and thousands in that sport.
I bet he still has a Rolodex.
I bet he does too. Hey, Coach, this is what we're looking for. He could probably make 5 phone calls and say, hey, this is what we're hunting for. This is what I need an assistant. Do you know anybody? He calls here. He calls there. They got a guy from the West Coast. We'll talk about it later, though, what this guy brings to the table. Because they just lost a guy that was really doing some solid work out of the transfer portal. But we'll get into that a little later on. Also, Tennessee gets a commitment today from a defensive back out of Colorado. So 2 players coming out of the portal this week late in the game. Adam Sparks will be with us at noon today, breaking that down scientifically on our TLD Logistics hotline. And we thank Mike Hugenan for appearing on the TLD Logistics hotline. Shout out Jim Peters and the gang there. As we continue, we're live today. Calhoun's on the river. This is an incredible place. Before the action this afternoon, come out, eat some lunch, talk some sports, eat an early dinner. Steve Russell, talk some sports, grab a couple brews, whatever you want to do. It's a 5:30 first pitch, Lindsey Nelson Stadium. We continue with more on the other side right after this.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law, 5th quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we've got Chad Stockton with FC Alliance. Chad?
Well, I'm up in Johnson City, Tennessee with our FC Alliance North location that we started this past fall. We are doing well. We kickstarted the spring season with games this past weekend, and we've got more games coming up the next few weeks. So we're excited about what the springtime holds for us. Our girls' ECNL is also into the middle of their spring season. They hosted a huge weekend this weekend coming from Pittsburgh and New York. The teams they hosted, good results, hard teams they played all weekend long. We've got such a focus on skill development and focusing on what's the right way to play for our kids as we continue to grow we're expecting our programs to continue to grow like they have been the past few years. Our tryouts are coming up in late May. For the U12 and under, it's the middle of May, and then for the older kids, it'll be late May. But we're expecting to grow not only in Knoxville, but also in Johnson City.
And if you want more information, you can see what Chad's talking about and hear those kids and get involved. It's fcallianceknox.org. Again, fcallianceknox.org. Hey, Chad, thanks, man. Many happy returns, my brother.
Thank you, Tony.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible. Oh, Coach Vitello's jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow, I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today. Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's KONEXIAL.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather and Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather and Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather and Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Tony B back with you. It's unbelievable. I mean, you talk about a privilege and an honor. Every couple times a year I get an opportunity to sit down with the great Jim Wright and my man Mike Carver. I bow thy head when I say both names. Now, we're going to do a little sportsy something at the end of this segment because Carver's going to give us a couple picks in the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. I bet you didn't know that, did you, Jim Wright?
No, I didn't.
I got to keep this thing, we got to keep this thing on the level over here, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So let's break it down scientifically. Mike Carver, I come to you first. When you guys are in my midst, something great is getting ready to happen in our community. Share it with us, my good friend.
Okay. Well, thanks, Tony, for having Jim and I on. Next week, the Smoky Mountain branch of the National Association of Letter Carriers will be putting a bag in 85 or 1,000 or so mailboxes in Knox County and some surrounding counties.
Yep.
And
shout out Marcos Garza. I see his name on this thing. So did he pay for them?
Marcos has been a sponsor, and he did sponsor the bags this year.
Wow.
And Marcos has been a good friend of Fish for several years, as you know well.
So these are yellow bags that are going to say "Stamp Out Hunger."
Very fitting.
Stamp Out Hunger.
For the Postal Service. Stamp Out Hunger.
Okay. I like that.
All right. So what we're asking is all your listeners and everybody in the community is to consider going and filling up these bags with some non-perishable goods.
Okay.
And all of these goods are going to go to your favorite charity and my favorite charity and what I consider the top charity not only in Knoxville, East Tennessee, but the whole state of Tennessee, the Fish Hospitality Pantry.
He's got you at the top of the food pyramid right now, Jim Wright. You're at the top of the pyramid.
Well, we're honored to be there.
So basically, when will the letter carriers deliver these bags to the homes? When will they see them, Jim Wright?
Well, they're supposed to put them in the mailboxes first of next week, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday probably, along with a postcard that gives them the details, encouraging people to fill it up with food.
Okay.
And leave the bag Saturday morning at your mailbox. If you can't put them in the mailbox, leave it at the bottom of the mailbox, and the letter carrier will pick them up, and our trucks will take them to our fish pantry that day.
Now, is this a Knox County thing? What counties are involved in this?
Well, I understand that in addition to Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Maryville, Kingston, Harriman, Lenoir City, Jefferson City, and Newport are all participating this year.
Yep.
So it's going to make a big difference for those who are struggling for enough to eat these days. The need is as great as ever with all the increases in the cost of food and rent and other necessities of life. So we're trying to make that struggle for people a lot easier by having lots of food for them.
And the uncertainty out there in the economy you were sharing with me has made it a little more difficult for you to acquire stuff from some of these food companies, right?
Yes,
we're noticing
the uncertainty in the economy these days has a lot of food suppliers are they're not giving it quite as quickly, their food donations as they have in the past, and also we don't receive any federal funds, so we're not concerned about the loss of that, but the loss of federal funds is causing a lot of nonprofits to have to go to the private sector, to our private donors, which support us in a strong way. So there's more competition for the private dollar these days and support. So the amount of food we can get through this letter carrier food drive will ease the burden that we have to try to provide food for everyone who needs it.
Jim, why have you chosen all these years ago? And I might have introduced you guys. I don't know. You guys give me credit for that. But what all these years later has led you to stay involved with Jim Wright, if you can, and what they do at Fish Hospitality Pantries?
Well, Tony, you did introduce me 21 years ago, and Jim Wright, Fish changed the food bank landscape in this part of the country, East Tennessee, when Jim started Fish in 1986. Back then, the people that were hungry were competing against each other, just to try to get food. They were blackball lists. They were rules. If you had a questionable reputation, you were blocked. And Jim changed the whole landscape. When you go visit Fish, you can feel all the love, all of God's love. You can feel all the compassion. We welcome everybody. Nobody's ever turned away, and it's just you've been there and volunteered. It's a magical place.
It's incredible.
We're all volunteer. We have no payroll. Tell me another charity, and all charities are good to some degree, but tell me another charity whose rating on donations that actually are used for the purpose is over 99%. Tell me another charity in the United States that has that kind of rating.
We're fortunate to have the support that we have to be able to do what we do. We provide food to about 6,000 families each month in Knoxville. And we have 4 locations to make it more accessible and easier for people to get to us. And we asked our volunteers to suspend judgment about people so that the way people are treated is as nourishing as the actual food they're going to get.
Right.
And as a result, we have hundreds of volunteers, and about a third of them first came for food. And the respectful way they were treated moved them to come and be a part of an organization, a community that treats people in this way. So
one of the things Jim's given me a privilege to see down through the years is he's kept a book of people who have sent him letters that came to him for food, and then once they got on their feet, would send him a letter saying, "Here's the donation."
Yes,
you've got a binder that's like yay thick, full of those types of testimonials, which is just, if that isn't what it's all about, hey, I'm back on my feet. Now I want to reach out and I want to pull you out of the water.
Yes.
I'm back on my feet.
I think it's about everyone sharing what they're able to share whenever they are able to do it. So, yes, we're all givers, we're all receivers in this world, and we want to have it be a model, a public model, where that can be lived out all the time.
Just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, a couple things, Tony. First of all, Jim's very humble, as you know. Fish also is a feeder for several counties around here, so we're actually affecting probably more like 9,000 families per month. The second thing is I would like to just send a shout-out to the Letter Carriers Association. These guys, I want to thank them for their compassion and their love for the community. They're just like you, Tony. They have love and compassion for our community. And the second thing I'd like to say is how honored we are at Fish that we were chosen to be the beneficiary of all their hard work. This is hard work on their part.
I was telling you, these guys, they're going to be picking these cans up and moving
in their trucks and
in these
trucks. They're going to have to make multiple trips.
At the end of the day, they're going to be like, man, this was a good idea until it wasn't. I'm in total pain over here.
And I wanted to tell you, Tony, appreciate you. Tuesday night, we're going to kick off this with a big meeting of the letter carriers in Knoxville, and Tony's going to be there.
I got to ask you about this. Now, I've been commissioned to use my skills and give the pep talk to the letter carriers, okay? Do I go full-throated like Pat Summitt back in the day, like hardcore? Do I go very soft? Do I do something in the middle? I need some advice from you. What do I do here?
Just be the real Tony, whoever that is, Tony.
Yeah. I don't know who the real Tony is.
We do. We'll know that night. We'll know that night. Thank you. Listen, and thanks to Jenkins Craig Jenkins and his agency that's helping to promote
Yeah.
this event, and
And
Marcus Garza and
Marcos, who sponsored our
his
bags.
sponsor, and all the people who will make this possible for us, and all the volunteers will be picking up that food. And next week, following the May 10th, is Saturday is when the collection of food will happen. So please put your food out that day.
Thank you to you guys for giving me a chance and the blessing to help spread the word on this. So the takeaway message is this week, if you're in Knox County or one of the surrounding counties, you're going to see a yellow bag that's going to appear in your mailbox. Please fill this with canned goods, non-perishables.
Yeah.
Is there a canned good more than another that you need right now? I got to ask you that, because our listeners really will make it rain on you with what you need. Is there something that you really need over something else?
Well, we never get enough canned meats and canned fish and highly nutritious food items like that.
Okay.
But we're grateful for any non-perishable food item
right.
That we've received that day.
Yeah, and SpaghettiOs would probably be better than beets, something like that.
Yeah.
I think you can.
I've got some neighbors that'll load you up with some beets, okay? Yeah. No names mentioned. But listen,
hey,
I love you guys.
This week of Bible study, our preacher said, my God has chosen us to see this day, and what a wonderful day that God's chosen us to see this day. What a wonderful day it's been being with you today. So I just want to thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. Thanks for your listeners.
Today's a wonderful day, but let's talk about some illicit gambling now.
Yeah, okay.
Now that we've done God's work. All right, so the Kentucky Derby is tomorrow. Talk to me, big boy. This man right here. Now I'm going to tell you about about Mike Carver. Okay. About 5 years ago, I went up to Keeneland with him. The racetrack in Lexington.
Yeah.
I sat there and went to the betting window with my son and lost race after race after race. Carver sat there and went to the betting window and collected winning ticket after. You think he one time looked at me and shared who he was taking in the next race? Hey, Tony, tail me. You think one time? Negative.
Surely.
Negative. All right, Carver, I want you to give out some winners right now.
Well, we do have
on.
kind of a sports theme.
You clown.
We have an overwhelming favorite this year, journalism. I certainly wouldn't leave him off any ticket. But for all the sports fans, we have a horse named Sandman, which is the fight song of Virginia Tech. Metallica, one of your groups that you used to like. Yeah, we all know Sandman. He's getting a huge following, and he's owned by two of my partners at West Point. I think he's got a shot. But my long shot is number 9, Burnham Square. I think I just saw Burnham Square run at Keeneland, and he can run forever. I think Burnham Square's got a real shot here. So I would say focus on Sandman, Burnham Square, journalism. Those three, maybe box, a little exacta, and that would be my 3 picks.
So who are they one more time?
Journalism, Sandman, Burnham Square.
And box them.
Box them.
All right.
That's who I'd go with.
Special shout out to the living legend W. Lynn for waving the flag here. One thing we do in these parts is we volunteer. We're going to step up for the hungry next week and those in need in our community. You're going to see these yellow bags. They're going to appear in your mailbox. Shout out Marcos Garza and the Garza Law Firm for funding this, for paying for that. And the letter carrier, say that again?
National
carriers,
Association
the postal
of
letter carriers.
Yes.
We'll be picking up the food next Saturday on May 10th.
And shout out to W. Lynn for bringing us the flag.
We love W. Lynn. One more thing. If you want to put an extra bag out there, you can. If you don't get one of these in a mailbox, use just a regular paper bag. They will pick it up.
A regular plastic bag will be best, yes.
Regular plastic bag. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
W. Lynn, thank you for being here, for providing the flag today and the ambiance.
Thank you, Tony.
Shout out to
Mike.
the Chapmans. The Chapmans tell me they will be participating in this and going hard. No doubt about it.
And thank you to Mike Chase and his family and to Brad.
It's no doubt. I asked Brad earlier. I said, Brad, can I share somebody here? He said, you take all the airtime you want for this. I said, thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
So shout out to them as well. And we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you. And anytime I say, go ahead.
I said Mike and Brad are huge supporters of Fish,
Oh,
just
come
so
on.
you know.
Anytime I see you, brother, it's a great day. And for the radio listener at home, I'm actually hugging my main man, Jim Wright. Carver, you know. I'm never going to forget that day at Keeneland, okay? When you walked out there with a big wad of cash and I walked out with nothing, you clown. Thanks for nothing. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
You're my man. I love him. All right, so let's get back into the chow. The chow of the record. And where's my man, Will Heflin? No show Willie. No show Willie. No show Willie. All right, let's, without further ado, the great Adam Sparks is going to join us here momentarily. You will bow your head. Adam Sparks. Let's take a brief time out. We'll get Adam Sparks in here and reset things, and then I'm going to scream at Will Heflin after this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Peace of mind is priceless, especially when it comes to your home safety and your family's comfort. That's why the pros at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling created the Peace of Mind Maintenance Plan. Preventative maintenance for HVAC and plumbing is like changing your vehicle's oil, and experts recommend scheduling regular system checks to keep everything running smoothly. With Peace of Mind, you can safeguard your home from unexpected costly breakdowns and repairs. You'll get tons of benefits, including full system checks on HVAC and plumbing systems, water heater flushes, sewer camera inspection, 10% automatic discount on repairs, priority bookings, no service fees, and much more. Monthly service plans are as low as $20.25 per month, and total annual services are valued at over $1,500. Call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to sign up or schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey,
Advent.
whoa.
Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. Basilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range, and if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery, so you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from B. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Hey, it's Ben Leeper, pitcher with your Knoxville Smokies. It's Friday night at the ballpark, and you know what that means. Fireworks. We'll see you tonight.
Tony B back with you. It's unbelievable. Live today here. Calhoun's on the river where we be. When W. Lynn held that flag up, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. That man brings it to the table. It'll be out on the deck tonight. Matt Dixon, when he looks across the way from his view in the press box and sees that flag a-waving, he knows it's all going to be A-OK. Let's, without further ado, bring in the great Adam Sparks, who breaks it down scientifically, moving left to right across your device. Adam, it's been too long since we've last visited. I hope you're well, and I hope all is cooking in your hey, man, we schedule you today, and the Vols pull a guy out of the portal. You planned that, didn't you, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, they've been waiting for some DBs, and they got one, and they may be getting another. This is a pretty good pickup. To be this late after the portal, Colton Hood is a good pickup. Colorado corner, so he's one of Dion's corners. Colorado ran basically a 4-man rotation at corner last year. Obviously, Travis Hunter was the number 1. But they had a 4-man rotation, and this guy was the number 4 guy in that 4-man rotation. And so he was moving up to at least number 3. And he was even competing. If he had stayed at Colorado, he would have been competing for one of the 2 starting corner spots for Colorado, because he was a redshirt freshman last year. Started off at Auburn. He was a 4-star at Auburn, out of the state of Georgia. So he was. I mean, he's a guy that if he had gone to Tennessee like a couple of years ago, you would have thought he probably would have projected to be one of these guys that are, in the rotation by now if he would have panned out. But he played a little bit at Auburn after one season, redshirted there, went to Colorado, played like 400 snaps last year on defense. And if he's a guy you would hope could jump right in and help fill the spot of Jermod McCoy until he gets healthy. I would hope they don't move him around. Anytime you see a kid say, Tennessee likes my versatility, you cringe a little bit because you think, oh no, they're gonna move him to like 3 different positions in 3 weeks. But he was a corner at Colorado. I would think he could play corner here.
It's interesting as Adam Sparks joins us on the program, and this kid from Colorado commits. Is he from Georgia originally?
Yeah, he's from Conyers, Georgia, and then signed with Auburn out of high school.
Okay, so shout out to Mike Hugenan, our guest last hour. Hugenan, you are officially on my prayer list. I asked him, Adam, about this guy, sight unseen. Hugenan knows who could tell you something about the third string defensive tackle at like North Dakota State. I mean, we're talking about a sick dude that knows way too much about college football. I asked him what he knew about this kid, like sight unseen, as it came down today, and he goes, well, he's from Georgia. He said he's from Georgia. Adam, the real reason we bring you in here today, and Matt Dixon tipped me off to your article yesterday. So Josh Heupel's asked about at his caravan stop, and Orange Throat today, our guy writing on our Friday Mondays for us over at tclub.team, said the answer he gave was gobbledygook when he was asked about it. Do you think that was kind of a gobbledygook answer that Heupel gave to that question?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, that's how Hype answers almost every question. He just lays out what the parameters of your question are. I didn't think he would give a very good answer. Now, thankfully, Danny White was also at the same event, so we pulled him aside and talked to him to get a little more clarification. You know, Josh Heupel never forecasts what he's going to do. If he's considering something, he doesn't tell anybody publicly until it happens. But then Danny White said they had discussed it. It's been evaluated. It's still an ongoing evaluation, and so if you put those two things together, basically what's happening is Heupel and Danny White have discussed the possibility of bringing in a general manager. Hasn't happened yet. They like the setup that it is. They generally think that it would be sort of an extra bureaucracy, extra red tape. You already have enough cooks in the kitchen. It would possibly be another one. Most of these GMs around the country are there's two things. One is that they're being given autonomy outside of the head coach. They can offer kids outside of the head coach. They can plan the roster in ways beyond the head coach. There's some GMs right now that are answering directly to the president and not the head coach. Tennessee wants nothing to do with that. Number two, a lot of the GMs around the country are being paid $700,000, $800,000. Michael Lombardi at North Carolina is getting $1.5 million. Tennessee doesn't want to pay a guy like as much as a coordinator if the guy's job is basically to organize things and then walk into Josh Heupel's office and say, okay, well, what do you want to do? You know, then you're just adding another guy that is going to the boss and asking what he wants to do. It just seems like an extra layer that you don't need. So that's why they haven't done it yet. But the reason they're still evaluating this is because rev share is coming this summer, and a lot of the things will change from there. You'll have more of the money will be from the school to the players, that it'll be under the umbrella of the athletic department. You'll still have NIL, but it'll be more under the umbrella of the athletic department. And so they want to go through sort of one cycle of that to see if a GM is needed or if it would just be an extra layer. But right now they don't want that extra piece, and everything is on hold till they see how sort of the next phase goes.
Yeah, so Adam, I think in the article it says that at least 11 of the SEC programs have this GM type role. Are any of them in that role that you're talking about where it's a really high paid guy that has actually some sway and say so with the head coach as opposed to just being another guy in the room?
Yeah, I mean, most of them are subordinates. I don't even know if I would call any of the guys as partners. I would say, well, you know what? I would say, what's his name? I forget his name. At LSU, their GM, he was brought in, I think, from Ole Miss. That's a guy that's sort of acting as a little bit of a partner. Texas also has a GM that's acting a little bit as Sark's partner. Guys that can sit down together, plan things out, and then the GM sort of has the approval to go get guys. Now, as much as Texas is spending, you sort of have a little more leeway to do things like that. Oklahoma, Jim Nagy, who ran the Senior Bowl for a long time NFL scout. I believe he answers directly to the president and not Brent Venables, which would make me pretty nervous if I was Brent Venables. So you do have both models in the SEC, but then you have, Kirby Smart doesn't have one. And Kirby Smart was asked back in, I think it was in December or January, why he didn't have a GM. And he basically said, well, I'm the boss, and I as Bill Parcells used to say, I want to pick the groceries if I'm cooking a meal. And Josh Heupel is not as aggressive in that way, but that is closer to how he thinks, I believe.
Which is a real point of contention for all these guys. It's how do you tell somebody that has all the power? Football coaches in these gigs have all the power, but they also have a lot of the exposure as well, because if it doesn't go well, you're going out the door. And in this era, when it doesn't go well, you'll go out the door a lot quicker than back in the day where you'd have 4 or 5 years for something to tail off. And so I would think that that's got to be threading a needle here, there, and everywhere to tell somebody, hey, you need help, and we're going to give you help. And by the way, you're going to play nicely with this person. That seems very challenging to do that, Adam, from my perspective.
Yeah, and Tennessee doesn't want divisions. They don't want factions. I mean, the big, the overwhelming theme of sort of this last 3 or 4 years that Danny White AD tenure is that all the different sports are all sort of rowing in the same direction, and everybody in each program is rowing in the same direction. They sort of like the unity that they have, and if you bring in a GM and don't give them true like NFL GM power, then you're just setting up a guy to be a scapegoat. You're giving him the designation that he is responsible for building the roster. Well, if you don't do well in the portal, or you don't do well in recruiting, or the roster has some obvious holes, or your quarterback walks out the door at the last minute, that GM it could be the scapegoat. That GM could get fired. So you're sort of setting up a guy. But if you give a GM true NFL GM power, and they can build the roster and then hand it over to Josh Heupel, well, then you could create a faction where these two guys are pointing fingers at each other. I didn't have the right players, or I gave him the right players. He didn't win with them, and that's just there's a whole lot of ways that could go the wrong way. And Danny White made a good point to me the other night when I asked about it. He said, college football doesn't have a draft. So much of the GM's job year-round is building a draft board. And you obviously you recruit, and you have free agency with the transfer portal, but recruiting, a lot of that is about the relationships between assistant coaches and analysts and those sort of things, and the player. And it's not as much about, just picking whoever you want at whatever spot. That's more planning. Recruiting is trying to get the best players, and you either get them or you don't.
Yeah, Adam, with this kind of role, if Tennessee were to go in this direction, would they just promote somebody from within, you think, or do you think they would go outside of kind of the program, which kind of it doesn't seem like Heupel loves doing that very often?
No, they got two guys, Billy High and Brandon Lawson. Those are two guys that are already in-house that I think you could promote to that. The closest they have right now is Billy High. He actually technically was a GM at North Carolina a few years ago. Billy High is a local guy, UT grad, started his career as I think a student recruiting intern under Lane Kiffin back in Kiffin's one year. Knoxville native, but he worked under Mac Brown at North Carolina as his GM. It's just that's when NIL and the transfer portal just started, so it's not really the same job anymore. But he's the closest to a GM they have right now. But it really depends on what time of the year you're asking, because they have other guys that are the chief recruiters that they plan out all the recruiting stuff. Lawson's one of them. Scott Altizer is sort of their in-state guy. He's the guy that helps land them a lot of the in-state recruits. But if you're talking about the portal season, if you're talking about late December and into January, and now we're in the spring portal, that's Billy High. And so to have a GM, whether promoting one of those guys or bringing somebody else, you would then put another layer over the high school recruiting and the portal guy. It's not, you wouldn't get rid of anybody. You would be adding somebody else. So if they did that, they would promote somebody within. But that's sort of what, like of the 11 SEC schools that have a GM, I named like 3 of them that have like a true GM or close to that. Of the other like 8 that have a GM and name, those guys are mostly just player personnel guys that are promoted to the title of GM, but they're still answering directly to the head coach. It's sort of like when you have, it's sort of like when you have an offensive coordinator that doesn't call the plays. The head coach calls the plays, and sometimes that's been the case in Tennessee the past few years. That you're giving them the title, but the head coach is still running things.
From my view of things, okay, and I'm just kind of like very opinionated.
You don't say.
Well, I think Heupel needs a strong general manager around him. I don't think he needs a co-GM. I think he needs somebody. I'm just going to say it. I think he needs somebody to help him, to sort of shepherd him, to sort of walk with him, like a 1A, 1B kind of thing. Not, hey, you're just going to do what I want you to do. From his perspective, I think he needs somebody that can really add some teeth to this thing. Am I wrong in that perception, or do you think that's a fair read on this thing?
I think it depends on who you ask. I think there's an extra layer that none of us know. All of this, you and I both get hints of it, is that I think there's an extra complication with Tennessee's transition from NIL collective running things and decisions and a lot of the money and those sort of things to now transitioning toward the rev share, because there's a rev share payroll that's going to start up here in a couple of months, and so every school is sort of transitioning to the NIL collective payroll to the rev share payroll, or some hybrid in between, because money's going to come from both of those sources. And I think maybe if the book was written about this years and years later, we would say Tennessee may have been sluggish in planning out the portal and things like that in the last, let's say 6 months. I would say probably another layer on top of that is that they were probably a little indecisive about how they transition from one to the other. When you have 2 sources of money and you're transitioning from one to another, you sort of have to have a trigger man to say, here's how much money we're spending for this player. Go get this player right now. And other schools they've been bothered by this too. If rev share was not coming, I think Tennessee probably would have been more aggressive with guys. Or if rev share was already here, I think they would have been more aggressive with guys. Some schools are just transitioning better than others. Only a few have transitioned well, and Texas obviously is one of them. But there's so much money there that you can make that work.
Again, just another opinion, just me. Well, I don't understand why you would govern it down until you're told you have to govern it down. That's why a lot of these schools are spending like drunken sailors right now in all these sports. Until I'm told I have to govern it down, why would I govern it down, right?
Here's the 2 things I think that are happening in the past few months in regards to Tennessee and others. Number one, the market has completely flipped this semester, so to speak, because a lot of the lower Power 4 schools that didn't have much money before now have some money. They now have some pocket change because they've opted into rev share. So now they're going to have like $15 million if they're fully in, or maybe $10 million. They now have more money. They now can take some of their athletic department budget and go spend money on players. So you've got more buyers in the market for, mid-tier to high-tier players than you ever had before. And then the other thing is you've got some schools, again, like a Texas, like a few others in the SEC, that are combining rev share and NIL quite a bit. I think Tennessee is spending more. I think Tennessee can spend more and is spending more in the past few months for this upcoming roster than it did the previous roster. The problem is the market has skyrocketed because there are more buyers, and the top buyers are spending even more. So it's just far more competitive. The interesting thing will be when the lower power fours spend all the rev share money for this roster coming up, and then you get to December in the next portal stage, are they tapped out of money? Because a lot of those lower power four schools that are now competitive in the market, they're buying players away from schools like Tennessee, and they're paying them for this upcoming roster. There's a lot of the richer schools that are holding on to the rev share money till January because they're using their NIL money front-loaded now to fund the roster for the 2025 season. They're hanging on to some of the rev share money for January because you get rev share money from July to the next June. You get it for 1 year. So just wait and see. Around Christmas, you may see a lot of these lower Power 4 schools that are tapped out of money, and the richer Power 4 schools are going to come in and start taking away their players.
My gosh, the other thing that if they really hold to this thing with the two buckets and you got to go through the dilute toish and all that stuff, which I don't think is legal, by the way, but we'll see how it plays out. If they really do that, Adam, the next step's going to be we're going to get back to illicit payments to players under the table, giving me an edge. Because if we get the rev share in the SEC, all the money essentially is going to be equal these teams are playing with. And then what you have, what you can line up in terms of NIL deals, that money's going to be pretty comparable among the haves in the league. Then I'm going to be back to, can I slide an extra $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 under the table to somebody?
Yeah, I don't think this clearinghouse is going to hold. Now, there's the administrative side of college football. If you poll a lot of administrators in athletic departments, you know, what's the clearinghouse going to do? They're hopeful that it's going to bring some structure to this, and it's going to drop NIL money down some because it's got to be legitimate. The players have to actually go do some type of task or work, or promotion or whatever to actually get paid. It's just you can't define what legitimate is. If I want to give $10 million to a player to do one Instagram post, that's my prerogative. You can't tell me you can interpret that as just objectively just as that's not legitimate. So I don't think the clearinghouse is going to hold up. The administrative side of college football hopes that it will, but I agree with you. It's just going to be under the money table if that's the case. But I don't think legally a clearinghouse is going to hold up. So I think you're still going to have money flowing in from two different sources.
Yeah, it seems to me that clearinghouse thing's going to last about 5 minutes till one attorney somewhere sues them, and that will be all she wrote on that deal. It's a complete and total mess is what we've got on our hands here. Just an absolute mess that they hope this thing provides some clarity for. But, Adam, every time you're on here, I know this, you provide a lot of clarity, and I appreciate you and the great job that you do. If folks want to read or follow your work, how do they follow along? Plug anything you want to plug, my man. You're my guy.
I appreciate it. In print, the News Sentinel, online, knoxnews.com, on Twitter, @AdamSpark. And I've got a few things on RevShare and NIL coming probably next week. I know on Monday on knoxnews.com you'll see I'll have a piece on the first 100 days of Joey Aguilar, what he can and what he can't do this summer by NCAA rules, what he can and can't do with coaches. So I'll have that all that laid out. First 100 days of Joey Aguilar, basically what his summer is going to look like.
Thank you, Adam. You're the man. Continue doing what you're doing, brother, and thanks for answering the bell for us today.
All right, y'all have a good one.
The great Adam Sparks. This thing's a total mess. When we come back, I want Matt to set the stage for us in this weekend, what we're going to see in this Auburn series. If you want to get in, 865-200-5402. Again, they've moved up the start time tonight, 5:30 Eastern time, 5:30 Eastern time, Tennessee and Auburn. They want to get it in before the weather gets here. If the weather gets here, who knows? I mean, you just never know around here. But They're taking a precautionary measure. Tomorrow it's supposed to be stormy, so who knows? Again, the crazy thing with the weather here is we've seen forecasts that are like so ominous, and then you get up the next day and it's sunny all day, and you're going, what? And then you get forecasts here where it's going to be sunny all day, and I'm sitting in the park and you just get blasted by rain. I mean, and around here anything can happen, and usually will in a 15-minute span. But we'll take a brief time out. We'll come back with more. It is the Friday edition. It is a Friday edition. We continue with more right after this.
What do the names Kirby Connell, Jordan Beck, Evan Russell, Drew Beam, and John Fulkerson have in common? When they have questions about the law, they call on Marcos Garza and the Garza Law Firm. The Garza Law Firm can handle anything law-related that may come your way. Join these VFLs and let the Garza Law Firm assist you. Visit them online at garzalaw.com. That's garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather and Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather and Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. As a trusted advisor, we offer personalized wealth management tailored to your unique needs. Let us help you protect, preserve, and grow your financial legacy. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics. Basilio here reminding you that when you want to sell your extra tickets to the game, you don't want to give your life away online with all your personal information just because you want to sell a few extra tickets. Clark Moore at Select Ticket Service will gladly buy your extra game tickets and your extra parking passes. And the best part? Clarky Boy pays cash. 865-919-1016. 865-919-1016. Clarky Boy pays cash at Select Ticket Service. Clarky Boy pays cash.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's KONEXIAL.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw, available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Tony B back with you as we're back with you. It's just I never am out here where I don't look out and go, God, this place is beautiful, man. You know what's crazy, Matt? We take it for granted because we live here. But this place is incredible. Mm-hmm. And look at the Fighting Chapmans of Cocke County, no less, holding it down all these years. Shout out Lambrito. It is really a beautiful thing, though, being here. Now, tonight I'm going to be playing music over at Avalon Golf Course. They're going to have live music out here this evening. It's going to be pumping and bumping. This is a great spot to come before tonight's game, which has been moved up to 5:30. Matt, will that thin the crowd out a little bit? It should, right?
Probably a little bit, yeah.
Probably give Auburn a little bit of a little bit of an edge. From Auburn's perspective, you kind of like that. You kind of like the Storms cooperating at this time of the year and
just throwing everything off.
Sort of throwing a little, because the A&M series, I think, I'm not an excuse maker, but the A&M series, one of the more underrated things that happened there was the
being a doubleheader.
Yeah, it screwed the deal all up, man.
Yeah. And it was a day you just didn't play well, and it happened to be a day you played too, and they swung it really well and beat you. So yeah, the earlier start should help the road team.
Tony told me, he said, goofballs like you that always want to rain my games out. He said that's a reason I don't like rainouts. Because if you play 2 and you're having a bad day,
you're losing 2.
You're losing 2 games. Yeah. And in that sport, you're going to have bad days. Tennessee, for so long under this guy, has played at an incomprehensible pace. What are your main concerns when you look at this Auburn lineup and you look at this series? What are your main concerns, Matt, coming into this thing?
Just that Auburn can stack quality at-bats together. Nobody really wows you. Ike Irish and Cooper McMurray are their 2 kind of returners that people will remember, and I think they have a third of their home runs just between those 2. But they have some freshmen in their lineup, but they'll just grind out at-bats. And I assume, unlike LSU last weekend, I think Auburn will try to be aggressive on the bases when they get there. And then it's a pitching staff that doesn't wow you with numbers or anything, but just really solid pitchers that know how to get guys out, make you work. So they've had success against Tennessee here in recent years, even when they haven't been very good. So, and they're a top 15 team, so it's not like they're a bad team. They're a top 15 team. They're in position to potentially host a regional, so it's a really good opponent.
How many teams do you think inevitably from this league will host a regional of the 16 sites? What's your number? Because Hughie was talking about it, like in softball, our league in softball has completely dominated that sport. It's like, why even bother for the other leagues that are playing now?
I would guess at least 8, and maybe you can get 10 or 11.
How many super regional sites do you think eventually? Because they like to mix that up a little bit.
They try
right?
to. They try to.
They
but
try
it's
to.
hard to. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why usually that very last, that 16, that the very last regional team is kind of usually a wild card type deal where they try to get a West Coast team or just mix and match. Give sometimes a mid-major team like a Coastal Carolina, they'll sneak into that spot. But
when you first started watching the sport, right, under this format, how many of those West Coast teams would host supers? A bunch, right?
2 or 3 a year, yeah.
And now it's
Stanford has been the only
maybe
one recently,
right?
and
maybe.
I think they've even fallen off a little bit. But it's been Stanford, but UCLA, USC, Arizona, all those programs were
so good at one time.
Just like softball.
Yep.
So it's kind of baseball is kind of following in the softball model of getting all the West Coast players.
Yep.
Which makes your league better and really hurts their league.
And who could blame any of those kids for taking the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't blame them. You couldn't blame them. Who could blame them? Let's, without further ado, if you want to go to the phone, if you want to jump in with us, we'll go to the phones at 865-200-5402. The talk this week, and by the way, Tennessee gets a assistant coach from Cal. They made it official today. I hinted at it in the bottom of the blog today. Here's what Tennessee needs from this new assistant coach. Rod Clark's role last year on that staff was not game planning. The game plan people are still there, still going to put the game plans together. This guy they're hiring, this is a recruiting position. This is somebody that will help them in the transfer portal. This is somebody who they'll throw some responsibilities on from that perspective and expect to produce and find some people. So we'll see how it goes. But let's get Rusty in here, who's up next with us on this Friday. Rusty, hello.
Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Hope everybody's having a good Friday and wish we were down there with you. There's not a much better place on earth and a better view.
Yeah, there's no doubt that's true, Rusty. Somebody from you that lives in the great state of California, which is a beautiful place with a lot of beautiful places and scenery. This thing here, man, is you talk about a signature view of our city right along this waterway. This is just breathtaking here.
Man, telling you, the two best views on earth that I've witnessed with my own eyes is up on the cliffs, out looking over the ocean towards Catalina, and looking off the deck of Calhoun's out there at the Vol Navy.
No doubt about it, man.
Revenue sharing, salary cap, none of that stuff's going to work with this college situation we're in. We have temporary employees that drawing up some kind of players union is impossible. You can't have a players union when the union's changing members every 3.5 years at max. So there's no way to do that, and you can't have a salary cap without a side agreeing with the other side. So that's pointless. Revenue sharing isn't going to work either because, as you said, everybody's going to start sliding payments under the tables as soon as you do that. All they can do is restrict the portal so you don't have players being able to leave 3 times a year. And you restrict the portal by saying, hey, yes, we're paying players to play football. We're not paying them to go sign autographs. We're paying them to play football. They're signing a deal with the University of Southern California or the University of Alabama or the University of Tennessee, and they're going to play football for X amount of days under this contract for this school. That way, but it's going to be like European football. You're going to be able to pay your salary whatever you want to pay, and if somebody else doesn't want to pay as much as you, so be it. Just like, I mean, there's going to be no guardrails on what you can pay. They just got to put guardrails on how long you're committed to one school when you sign a deal. That's the only thing that can solve any of this, and that's the best we can hope for.
Yeah, what's crazy now, and it's so NCAA what they've done, because truly what they've done, Rusty, is they've created a system where they sign these kids, right? Like we heard Nico, 4-year deal. We were all like, oh, well, that's cool. And then you realize those kids can get up and literally walk away a week into it. There have been guys, well, the Gillespie kid, he signed a 2-year deal with Maryland last year, and they paid him good money to come out of a mid-major. I mean, it's not life-changing money, but it's not life-changing money. It's pretty freaking good money that Maryland paid the kid last year.
Right.
And the minute Tennessee showed up with an opportunity for him to go back home, he said, hey, thank you for your loyalty. By the way, I know I have a 2-year deal, but it's non-binding. And here, the reason it's not binding to the listeners, this is because Rusty's made this delineation, and it's true. As long as I don't act like this thing's a pay-for-play, you can wiggle out of it all day long. Leave it to the NCAA to try to hold on to their hypocritical nature of this is amateur sports. This hasn't been amateur sports for 35 or 40 years. When you've got billions of dollars of revenue coming in to your coffers, that thing ceased being amateur sports a long time ago. Come on now.
I'm guessing Kenny Stabler was getting a pretty good envelope back in his day. It's probably been going on for... it's been going on.
Oh. Yeah, and it was like the military back in the day. It was don't ask, don't tell.
Right.
That was the code. It was like the kayfabe era in wrestling. Hey, man, this stuff's real. You ain't going to get me to admit it. This thing's real, man.
All right. No, it's you're spot on. How does the NCAA put us in this situation? And you're right. It's not a 4-year contract. It's not a 2-year contract. It's until the next portal's open contract. That's all it is. That's all any of this is. And I mean, coaches have the same freedom.
Well, the Nico thing, right? Like, I got a buddy, Russ, that's really mad at Heupel over the Nico thing, and I get it. Like in retrospect, when they're flirting around, you got to say goodbye to him. Like, and I was screaming at you when you were telling me that 3 weeks ago. You were right about that. It's true. When that whole thing happened, you had a chance to flush that whole deal and get a quarterback. But here's the thing. Here, there, or anywhere, if a guy wakes up in March and is mad at you and he wants out and it's May, and he's your quarterback, okay? And he's going to walk away in that transfer window you're talking about, that spring window. How in the world am I going to stop that? Because we were the first. We will not be the last that happens with.
No.
There's no way we're going to be the last.
I was arguing with you to say that we screwed up, Tennessee screwed up, because we didn't say, here's the line in the sand, sign on the dotted line to the new deal, or get your coat and your brim. But I may have been wrong. It's happened before. Because the truth is, we could have signed him to that deal, and he still could have done this as soon as spring practice was over.
That's exactly right. To me, Matt, the thing about Nico, my takeaway message is, once my quarterback shows me who he is and their people, and they're out popping around with other people, I don't even give you a chance. It's goodbye. Am I wrong, Matt?
No, probably not.
I mean, to me,
it was such an unprecedented situation that Heupel's program was built around Nico for this 3-year window.
Well,
I mean, for better or worse. So you wanted to try to make it work for 6 more months, but
that's all you
know. I think your take is correct, and I would like to think that Heupel's not going to get put in that situation again. But I don't know how you don't, because the players have all this leverage.
And that's the thing is, when you're put in that situation, you have to be strong enough to say, hey, I don't know who our quarterback is in 2025 in December, but it's not going to be you. Because then I could still call around the country and get somebody in that portal. I'm starting to think, Rusty, along your lines, that I don't know that this spring portal window, I don't know that it's a good idea. I don't know why they're doing it in football.
It's a terrible idea. But
I don't know why they're doing it.
I'm complaining, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't know what it would take for the NCAA to get this done. But maybe you can figure it out, or ask somebody who can figure out how hard would it be for the NCAA to tomorrow come out and say, we're going to stop pretending. It's pay for play, and you can sign people to a multi-year deal that they're binded to said school when they sign their deal, and the school's binded to them. The school owes them every penny of that contract, and they owe the school every day of that contract. What would it? How much legal maneuver is there? A ton of red tape that would have to be cut for them to make it that simple and just do it tomorrow.
What they've done right now, I'm telling you, they're going to lose fans. People used to think NASCAR, I know a lot of people that grew up watching NASCAR for generations that don't look at it now because it doesn't resemble the sport they grew up watching. And this thing here is in grave danger of, it's very disillusioning for everybody involved. And the one thing that we kind of hide, or we don't really think about, is the kid that was the quarterback at UCLA that wanted to go back home to California to finish his college career. And the kid did nothing wrong and got thrown out because the system the NCAA has created, it incentivizes teams to behave that way. Not that it allows it. It incentivizes you to say to a kid who's done nothing wrong, get out of my face. You're no longer a part of us.
Right. And if the pay-for-play was in place, they couldn't have done that to him.
Can't do it. They're locked.
Yep.
Everybody's locked.
Not only could the kid, the new kid came into town, that kid couldn't have went to the new place, and the kid that was already there would have had to have been treated fairly and not kicked off him.
Well, I
too
appreciate
easy to fix
you,
this,
babe.
But hey, we're not going to do it.
No, it's too easy. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's idiotic because I can't admit. Thank you, Rusty. I cannot admit what. And by the way, your family's in my prayers, but you cannot admit what's going on. Hey, Matt, thanks for coming out and pinch hitting for Bino today.
Yeah, thanks for everybody for listening anyway.
Yeah, and by the way, and thank you to Will Heflin for the stand-up job of standing us up today. He'll be live on Garza Law Extra Innings along with Matt as soon as the Auburn series concludes. Might be wild and woolly on Sunday. Who knows with the weather in
doubleheader win.
Oh boy,
doubleheader on Sunday.
I sure hope that goes well. Thank you to
Zakai Ziegler throwing out the first pitch tonight.
Thank you to
Vols. Better have his team fired up.
You better do it, Tony Vols. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you, Calhouns. You're the best. We appreciate you. G to the B to the O. Peace.
WJBE,
Go Vols.
1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259 AB. Powell, Knoxville.
It was last week.
W259 AB. Powell, Knoxville.
T to the B. Hey. Welcome you to the Thursday edition. John Adams will be by here momentarily. Presented by Jennifer Morris. Next move, SmokyMountains.com. And Movement, sweeping the nation. Gold Brick Joe has retained her services, was bragging on her to me the other day. I'm pretty fired up, focused, and prepared. We're a day away from being at Calhoun's on the river for what